Hi, good afternoon. This is Mr. Cox. We're going to take a couple minutes today to go over a multiplication problem that involves a whole number times a fraction, which is what your assessment piece is on that you've been assigned for today as well. You guys may notice Mr. Turkey in the background right there. Mr. Gobbler, he's going to be our helper for the day. He is an expert on multiplying fractions by whole numbers, so occasionally he might whisper some advice in my ear that might help us. All right, so we're going to look at a problem that is 14 wholes times 3/8. All right, looks like that. I actually took this from the assessment piece that you're going to do, so you may want to write this down. All right, so 14 times 3/8. The first thing that they're going to ask you is your answer going to be more or less than 14? Give you a second to think about it. All right, and here's the trick. If you're multiplying a whole number by a fraction that is smaller than one whole, then your answer should be smaller than 14. All right, if this said 8/8, we know that 8/8 is one whole, and in that case, we'll be multiplying 14 by 1, which would give us exactly what we started with, 14. All right, so Mr. Gobbler, what do you think? If I were to do 14 times 12/8, which 12/8 is more than one whole, what do you think would happen? You're right. It would be more than 14. All right, so when this number is more than 1, it's going to make our answer go up. When it's smaller than 1, it's going to make our answer go down. And when it's exactly equal to 1, it's going to leave it the same. It would be 14 in this case. All right, so some people, when they multiply a fraction by a whole number, they'll actually write that 14 as 14 over 1. All right, and then we can go ahead and start multiplying. Now, Mr. Turkey, what is the cool thing about multiplying fractions that we should share with everybody today? That's right. We don't need common denominators. Good stuff, right? So we're going to multiply straight across. We're going to do 14 times 3, and on the bottom, 1 times 8. Now, 1 times 8 is going to give me 8. 14 times 3 is going to actually give me 42. Now, if you want to work that out to verify it, you can. But 42/8 would be our answer. All right, now we said at the beginning that our answer should be smaller than 14, which means I should not be able to get 14 groups of 8 out of that 42. All right, let's see how many we can get. All right, 8 into 42. I know right off the bat, because I know my multiplication facts, I know that 8 times 5 gives me exactly 40. What do you think, Mr. Turkey? Can we get any closer? That's right, we can't. Because if I did another group of 8, that would be 8 times 6, which would be 48, which is too much. I only have 42. All right, so I can take out 8. Let's see, 8 times 5 is 40. And if I take out my 40, I am left with, that's right, 2 left over. All right, so my final answer here is going to be 5 wholes and 2 left over. But those 2 left over are actually measured in, where are we? Eighths, right? So we're going to have 5 and 2/8. So there's a couple different ways that you can write your answer. You could write it as 42/8 or 5 and 2/8, like that. Or you may even see it as 5 and 1/4. All right, so Mr. Turkey, what do you think? How in the world did we get from 5 and 2/8 to 5 and 1/4? Oh, that's right. We simplified. These both 2 and 8 are both even, which means we can divide them in half. So we did. We kept our whole number 5, and then half of 2 would be 1, half of 8 would be 4. All right, so let's go back and check. Originally, we said our answer was going to be less than 14. Is that true? Is 5 and 1/4 smaller than 14? Absolutely. All right, so we did not need a common denominator. If it helps, you can put your whole number over a 1. And like Mr. Turkey back there told us, we don't need a common denominator. You can multiply straight across. All right. As always, feel free to email me or message me through Schoology if you have any questions. All right, have a nice day.